My job in the CIA was to go undercover, make contacts, and see if they knew information that could be useful.
So you left us for 6 years to make friends?
You'd prefer I kill people?
Michael, the agency is based on a French series called The Bureau. What appealed to you about doing this as a TV series?
Well, I'd seen the original series with Alicia, my wife. We watched it together in like 2020 or something like that, and I loved it, and I found the characters super interesting, and I found the world to be fascinating, and the people that operate in that world and the people that choose to go into that kind of line of work. And it just stayed with me. I was curious about it, and then I had no idea that there was talks of a remake being made, and then it just came to me early this year, actually, and I committed to something already in the spring. So they waited for me, thankfully, because they had their release date. They were going ahead with the show, and then read the scripts and loved it and loved their take on it, respecting what was already there and working in the original. And then allowing the Butterworths, Jez Butterworth and John Henry to write their style and bring their flair, and then obviously it's Americans, not French people, and there's that cultural difference, but there is a DNA that's true to the original series, which I'm happy that we kept.
Jeffrey, what drew you to Henry?
I grew up in Washington, D.C. It's a one-horse town. It's a government town. My mom worked for the government, for the federal government. She was a lawyer for 30 some odd years, beginning in 1963. And so I'm surrounded by that culture and by those people. I have a lot of respect for civil servants. I think, particularly now, at a time when there's a lot of perverse political attacks on government and the people who do the work of governing. I think there's a lot that's misunderstood, but there's also a lot to be explored in terms of what's driving, someone like Henry to do what he does. And at times there are these moral ambiguities and ethical issues that he crosses, but I think he is trying to do the best he can, yes, for himself, but also in service of his country. When is he successful? When is his country successful? There are a lot of questions that come into that, but the impulse behind wanting to do this, I think, is very often an honorable one. And I wanted to explore that and to see where he succeeds and where he fails.
You're both no stranger to the spy genre. How do you think you'd fare in the world of real life espionage?
Not good. I just don't, I just couldn't do the sacrifice of not seeing my children and my wife, just purely on that alone. Maybe as a younger man, I mean, I didn't really know what I wanted to do when I was 17 or 8, when I discovered acting was around 17, actually. But before that, I was thinking, what would I do? And I guess journalism did appeal to me, to be out in, war zones or places in conflict, to see what was going on there. That did appeal to me when I was younger.
It's kind of similar.
Yeah,
Similar
I
to
guess it is.
espionage, yeah.
But certainly at this point in my life, I'm glad I got to do this instead.
Yeah.
Because you can pretend, you can dive in, get little flavors of what the reality of these lives are without having to, go the whole way. And yeah, so I find it, I think the stress would be too much. I think what you said earlier, I think I'm too emotional a person to be able to navigate it correctly.
Michael, real quick, before I let you go, Catherine Watterson, she's in this. Did the two of you look at each other and say, are we going to get a resolution to that Covenant storyline?
No, we didn't actually. We talked very fondly about that experience in working with Ridley, and this is actually the third time because we worked together on Steve Jobs as well.
She was,
Yeah, but it was quite cool in the scene, where I come back to, into the fishbowl when I've come back into the agency and I've been called back and we have that sort of first scene together. And I think it was one of the first scenes we shot where there was that sort of looking at each other going, yeah, here we are again. She's wonderful. She's such a good actor and always brings everything to it and asks a lot of questions. And her performance is very nuanced. She's really bright and love working with her.
Risk your life on a daily basis. No glamour. No exploding watch. I believe there's one type of agent. The insane.